Okay.
Until I'm out of your picture, and then go.
All right. You like Mavericks fan, Cowboys fan, Stars fan?
Oh, yeah, like all the above.
All of them. Small town. I get it. That's what's up. All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Catch you on the rebound. We have Mollie Mayfield in the building. We're going to make some noise for her. Got to bring you in, right? Small town girl, Greenville, Texas.
Yes.
Now you out here in the Big D.
Yes.
Making moves, sports marketing. Potentially you could be an agent.
Yes.
Some type of management role in your life. Where did that come from? What made you want to get into this industry?
So thank you for having me.
Okay.
So I think I was kind of like forced into it. So I was a photo editor for the SMU newspaper, and so got to cover athletes like you and the football team. And so just like kind of fell into my lap. And then after I graduated, I was actually looking up hashtags on Instagram, like some of the local sports teams, and I came across this company that immediately hired me right out of college, and I was doing sports reporting at first. And so, again, covering SMU football and basketball.
Got it.
And I don't know, I just like didn't like being stuck up in the press box because I was just so used to being on the sidelines taking photos and stuff.
Okay.
But I got to see like the PR people and communication people doing their work. And so that like sparked my interest to go and get my master's in sports management. And it was one of my mom's friends that was like, hey, like my son's gonna play college baseball. Like he's gonna need an agent one day. So that like really sparked my interest to do more management and agent stuff. Yeah.
And I believe like in this day and age, it's like, it's the decade of like female empowerment. You know, like you see female coaches, you just see females getting positions that they couldn't have got like 10 years ago.
Yes.
Who are like some of the like female pioneers that you kind of like watch?
So definitely Nicole Lynn, same with the sports agent side. So last year she made history of being the first African-American woman to draft a NFL player, and the first, I think he went number 3. And so
That's big time.
Yes. And so I was telling, do what?
That's lottery.
Yes. Oh, yes. And so like I was telling you earlier, I was in New York a few weeks ago taking my NBA agent test, and she was there, and I was like fangirling hardcore. Like she was standing in front of me in line, and like,
oh, she was right there.
She was right there in front of me. And like, I think I was just so nervous about the test that like, I just couldn't talk to her. Oh my gosh.
Nah, the 3-foot rule, man. If she's 3 foot close to you, got to talk to her.
I know.
It's anything, just small talk, bullshit, icebreaker. You already knew who she was.
I know.
Yeah. But you'll get other opportunities like that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. One day somebody might be fangirling about you. So
oh gosh.
just think about it, you know? Like you would want to talk to them because you've been in their footsteps before.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How do you feel about just the current state of like the sports in the Metroplex? Who are you betting on? Mavericks, Cowboys. Obviously the Cowboys are done. You like the Mavericks right now?
Yeah, they're pretty hot with KP and Luka and but this past year, I've been doing more Starz games. So even tonight, I have a Starz game. They're like really picking it up. Yeah, they went really far in the playoffs last season. So maybe further this season. So I don't know. My bet's kind of on the Starz this year.
To win it?
Oh.
To just go further.
Yeah, go further. Yeah.
I get that. I've been to a Starz game, and I was impressed. I don't really know what to expect from hockey, but it's cool. It's competitive.
Yeah.
It's like it's physical, so it gives you everything that.
Yes, there for the fights.
Yeah, is that why you're there?
Maybe.
Yeah. So obviously, like you like to move around rather than being like what you said in the press box. So you like to be on the field, like in the action.
Yes.
So, what was it like? Pam Oliver, a couple names. Have you met any of those people, like the women who?
So actually, So whenever I was like starting off doing like photos and stuff while at SMU, I didn't know the big names, and so no, and so
you're probably walking past them and just not knowing who they were.
So I actually went to Connecticut for the SMU basketball championship or the AC basketball
tournament.
Yeah, and so I was on the phone with my mom, and is it Donna Burke?
Okay.
She like walked past me. She's like, "I love your jacket." I was like, "Thanks," and like no idea who she was. And then like later on, like before the tip off, I like apparently walked behind her while she was doing like a live interview or a recap or something.
Okay.
And like my mom called me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're behind Donna." I was like, "I don't know who that is." And so I'm like, dang.
That's not bad. It's not bad. If you can get that close to him, like you'll probably be able to get that close to him again.
Hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. Okay, just tell us a little bit about Greenville and like your upbringing and like what brought you to SMU, because there's plenty of schools in Texas.
Yes.
I went to Texas Tech before going to SMU. So what made you want to like come to Dallas?
So it's actually the reason why I went to SMU actually ties into mental health that we're talking about or later on. So I don't know if we want to bring it up. Yeah. So the main reason, so SMU is like 30 minutes from my house, and people are like you said, there's so many schools I could have gone to. Like I was supposed to actually go to A&M Corpus Christi, which is 8 hours away. And so, but the reason I went to SMU and I'm like still at home today is because my grandma, who I call my G, and so she had liver and pancreatic cancer. And we were like this. Like I have her handwriting tattooed on my wrist. Like that's how close we were. And so I just wanted to stay close to home. Like even when I was leaving for move-in day for SMU, like she cried her eyes out. She's like, "I don't know how I'm going to do this, being 30 minutes away from you." I'm like, it's a drive.
30 minutes?
I know, like, it's a drive. And so that was one of the reasons. And then, like I said, I wanted to get in broadcast journalism. And SMU, I had, like, the full studio and everything like that. So I was like, I need to do this. And so that was one of the main reasons that I went to SMU. And so then the reason I decided to stay around is because, of course, like, it's a huge sports town and all that stuff. And I just wanted to, like, be closer with my G. And so so the August after I graduated, I was just having, like, I don't know. I knew something wasn't right with my body, and so I went to my doctor, and I was diagnosed with a hormone disease called polycystic ovarian syndrome. And so they put me, and so one of the side effects is depression and anxiety and stuff. So they put me on medication to like help with that, but it was like making it so much worse. So like for an entire year, I was like, I don't know, I just felt so alone and down about myself. And so then fast forward March 2018, I was covering the March Madness here in Dallas, and so I come home, and like my mom's sitting on the couch, and I can tell she's been crying. I was like, "Gosh, what's wrong?" And so my G went to the doctor that day, and she was given 6 months to live. And so like, oh my gosh, like for the past 4 months after that, like I didn't sleep. I was like crying all the time, and so with the cancer she had, it like messed a lot with the digestive system, and so she couldn't eat a lot. So it was like literally watching one of your loved ones like kind of starve to death and just like riddle away. And so she ended up passing away July. And so and then a few weeks after that, I had another doctor appointment, just a yearly thing. And she's like, "So how are you feeling?" And I just sat there and just cried. I was like, I feel so alone, and just like having like chemical like depression and then like situational depression. It like really messes with your mental health. And so I was telling her, I was like, I can't sleep. I'm having nightmares, reliving, watching my G like go through this or passing away. And so after that, she put me on Zoloft, which is a depression anxiety medication, because she's like, I don't want to put you on what is it?
Is there a different type of?
Xanax. She's like, I don't want to put you on Xanax just because it's so addictive and all this stuff. So with this, you take it every day and it helps balance things out. But like on the days that like I just want to cry or like be happy, I couldn't, just because like I felt so numb
Okay.
with this medication. And like, I've lost a lot of friendships because they're
Really?
like, you weren't there for me. You weren't happy for me. I'm like, I'm sorry. And so for 2 years, I dealt with that. And so this past October, I was like, I'm done. So I took myself off of all of my medication, like got help, talked to people. And so now I'm like at a better place. I like started a new church and stuff, like
What church?
Shoreline City.
Oh, I've been to Shoreline. Is Pastor Earl still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We used to go when I was at SMU.
Earl. Yes. And so I just like really just like planted myself in that church and like grow myself and my faith stronger.
In the community.
Yes. And so I think that's the one things I was like missing out was like community because I'm always like working, going to games and stuff. And so the past like 2 years was definitely a struggle, but I think this past year was like my triumph year to like get over the hump of mental health and figure out how to help myself.
So like being here, like obviously you said like now you're over it. Do you like appreciate the moment that you went through the struggle? Like what did it really like teach you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Cause I got to learn personally of how I need to get help. And so I have a lot of friends that came out from SMU, that they were struggling a lot with mental health. Like a lot of them were like dropping out. And so, and I was just thinking about it today that because you see like with SMU athletics, they get a lot of speakers coming in and talking about mental health and how you talk about issues. But like for sorority and fraternities, we always get like.
Are you in a sorority?
I was in a sorority.
Which one?
Yes. I was in Gamma Phi Beta.
I don't know that sign. Tell me.
We are like this. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I just think about that today because like athletics, they get like a lot of speakers talking about mental health, but like for sorority fraternities, we get like, oh, if you go to a party, don't take drinks. Like you're always thinking about like that or like
social problems, not so much like personal, like
So I've had like a lot of friends in my sorority that would like drop out of SMU because they've dealt with a lot of mental health and they just didn't know how to deal with it. And so I'm kind of like thankful that I went through that so I can like talk to them, like be there for them. And then actually I had one friendship back in October. I just had to tell her, be like, hey, like we both recognized she had some issues and I'm like, I've done all that can help with you. So like you need to grow and learn from yourself and like I just can't surround myself by this anymore.
That's good. And I like as I get older, I realize that like it's not so much of like who else do you need in your life? It's like who do you not need in your life that's going to take you to that next level. It's not like more, it's actually like less.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So your grandma passed. Tell me a little bit about y'all's relationship, if you don't mind, if you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like she will tell you, like she's like, I saw you be born. You looked right at me. Like she would tell you all those stories, and so actually before I was born, my parents split up, and so my mom has been a single mom literally my entire life, and so like she had some struggles like financially, like raising 2 kids by herself, and so she's like the power mom. And so so over the summer, instead of like going to daycare, me and my brother would just like hang out with my grandparents. They had a house up in Oregon. And so every summer we would like take a different route getting up there just to like explore the country. And so
did you drive?
Yes, we had an RV.
Wow.
And so it was like 3 days of driving.
Wow.
And so I'm like extremely close to my grandparents, especially my G. So I don't know, we just had that really special bond. And so
I love road trips.
Yes. Yeah. And so whenever they decided to move back down to Texas, they moved 2 houses down from me. And so like every day and so yeah, we were very close. So like
I liked it.
Every day after school I would go down there and like do my homework with her and talk and stuff. And so whenever the 4 months that she was passing away, it was very hard just because at some points like she couldn't talk.
Really?
Like all she would say is like nod her head and like okay. And so and on my birthday, July 3rd, she actually slipped into a coma.
On your birthday?
Yes. And so after fact, my mom, grandpa, they're like, you and I imagine like what we were like we were preparing ourselves for her pass away on your birthday.
They were.
Yeah.
Did they tell you?
And so, well, after she passed, they told me that they were like prepared to do it because my other grandma, my dad's mom, passed away the day before my 20th birthday. And so I'm like, this cannot happen. And so I remember on my birthday, I was just in bed with her, holding her hand, like bawling. I was like, all I wanted for my birthday was my G to say happy birthday. And so by like the grace of God, the next day she like came out of a coma.
She did?
Yes.
Okay.
And so, and at this point she like couldn't really talk much, but she like whispered like happy birthday. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so,
wow.
And so, yeah, that was definitely hard because once they got like hospice in there, help her with every day. Whenever she was sleeping, the doctors would tell us, they're like, we know you want to like hold her hand and stuff, but it's probably like painful to her just because.
To hold her hand.
Yeah, just because like at this point it's literally skin and bone. Like I could actually see her bone. And so they're like, first it's like painful to her probably, and her mind is like still connected with the earth and with family and stuff, so it's gonna be hard for her to like slip away and pass away. And so it's definitely hard there at the end of like not getting to hold her hand and stuff like that. And so so yeah.
Do you feel like you knew what her last wishes were for you?
For me, probably definitely like seeing me on TV. Just because that's always was my dream to be a news reporter and all that stuff. And so for her birthday before I graduated, my pa took her to SMU when we were doing our SMU TV thing. So she got to see me on TV there. And so I think that was the thing after she passed. My mom told me, she's like, I'm just glad she got to see you once on TV and like actually live your dream. And so, so yeah, I think that was her dream for me, even though that's not my dream for me now. No. So, but she got to see me on TV.
The dream always grows, though.
Yes, it
always
does.
Grows.
Yes.
You just have to like see another level of it. So that like you continue doing what you're doing, you'll see things and things will start to make sense more, and you'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yes.
So, I guess like just to like piggyback off of that, like in those type of moments when you have to, like you said, you have to prepare for someone to not be with you anymore. It really like makes you focus on like time.
Yes.
And until you're in one of those moments, you just don't really realize like how important your time is.
Yes.
Until like, okay, I don't really have this much more time with this person. Like, what can I get out of those moments?
Yes.
So in my situation, my dad raised us. Like I had both my parents, and I had a brother and sister, but like, we just didn't really have the best relationship like before he passed, and he called me the day before he passed, and like I was like just I don't know, I guess I was like really into myself because I was in college and I thought I was something, and I told him I would call him back, and then I didn't call him back, and then I got the phone call. So it was like really bad, really traumatic. Like I was like, what the fuck is wrong? Like what's wrong with you? Like why can't you just like talk to your dad and just like let him know, like, because he just wanted to know like what was going on in my life, you know what I'm saying? Not so much like basketball or anything to do with that, just like me personally.
Yes.
And the fact that like, I felt like to a certain extent I did get to have that relationship, but like not in the way that I wanted. Because like I've done a lot of things that I didn't really expect to do, and I wish that he could see it now. So the way that like I'm able to like keep like contact with him, and it may sound weird, it's just like through other people.
Yeah.
So like now I go and I talk to his dad, and I talk to like people that knew him, and they tell me like all these stories about him that like I don't even know. So I get to like relive, you know, some moments like through other people with him. But just all of that happening, like I didn't really like understand what mental health was, and like in the African American community, it's not really publicized, or like people are, I don't know, it's like a shame. Like people are ashamed to say that like they have like issues or stuff like that, to actually like talk about it. But like I just almost like want to like just dedicate my life to it in some way, shape, or form, because it like it really like it changed me, and it was like really hard, and I didn't really know what I would do. But when I like got into a community, like obviously I started going to church. I'm in like a lot of like small groups, small, just like whether it's like a prayer group or I'm just in a bunch of little small groups where I can constantly like shape myself in like around other people and like hear their stories and like share my stories, and that's kind of like what keeps me going like at this point.
Yes. Yeah. After my G passed away, I don't know. I feel like something inside of me was like just shut down. Like I used to be so outgoing, like talk to every single person. And so the year after she passed, like I just wanted to like just stay in bed and do nothing. So I like kind of shut myself down.
Yeah.
But it was also the same year I started going Shoreline.
Okay.
And so it's so weird because, like, I went to the same church my entire life. Like, my uncle was my pastor.
In Greenville.
Yes.
Okay.
And so just, like, losing my G, I was like, I just wanted to, like, disconnect from family, like, altogether. It was so weird. So I started going to Shoreline. And the day that I visited, we were doing worship, and the song they played was Miracles. And that's the song I listened to every single day during the time where my G had 4 or 6 months to live. So at that moment, I never felt God and like my G like in one. Like it was just so spiritual. Like I started bawling. I was like, this is my home. And so like you did, I joined a Connect group just like to make a smaller community, like talk to them. And at first I was just like so like closed, like I just didn't want to talk about myself. And then once they were talking about their issues, one girl, she's like, I was living with my alcoholic boyfriend and like I didn't want to do anything with my parents. I was like, wow, like these people who I thought were perfect like struggled also. And so that like really helped open me up and talk about issues that I had also.
That's cool. What is one thing you've always wanted to do that you haven't done?
Oh gosh.
Other than like be on TV as a broadcaster.
Man, well I've done a lot of things.
Okay. What do you want to do in 2020 that you have never done?
2020, probably like something like the bar set really low is probably like cover a Cowboys game.
Okay.
Because that's the one team in Dallas I've not covered yet.
Okay.
So if any Cowboy guys are listening and want to give me a press pass, please do that.
Do they have to give you a press pass?
Well, the company I was working for, since we were an independent company, we only got 2.
Okay.
So one for the reporter, one for the camera person. And so it's like Cowboys are like really hard to get press passes for. Okay. So, or at least I think it is.
Okay.
And so probably that and, I don't know. Like there's just so much I have done that I don't really know what I want to do now.
Okay. All right. I'll let you think on that.
Yeah, I'll think on that.
Yeah. And so like I said earlier, like at the same time, like I've been asking you a lot of questions. You know what I mean? But like you have the open floor to ask me questions as well. So I'm not just like rambling on.
Oh gosh.
You know what I mean?
What's your favorite color?
It just depends on my mood.
Okay.
It just depends on my mood. Yeah. I don't think I have a favorite color.
Okay. Okay.
Blue or red? That's super patriotic of me, but like it's blue or red. It's like blue is like calm, peaceful joy, and then red is just like, all right, like fuck you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, it's like fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like blue or red.
Okay. Let me see. So what inspired you? Cause like, I don't know. Cause like to me and like people I interview, they're like, oh, blogging and like podcasts are so saturated. Like everyone's doing it. So in this time, like the saturation of podcasting, especially about mental health. So what like inspired you to do it and like keep on going after it?
Obviously, like Eric Thomas, the ET hip hop preacher. You know who that is?
I think so. Yeah.
That's the guy that's like always like yelling in his videos and always getting you like super hype. Like I listen to like every single one of his podcast albums on like Apple Music while I was in France. But really just, I guess as an athlete, like I can say like I never knew who I was outside of basketball.
Yeah.
And like when I established a relationship with God, like it started to like show me like who I was. Like when you go in the way that you want to go, like just if you go in the way of like what you want to do, like God will reveal yourself to you. So just trying to like find and establish like my identity outside of sports, that's kind of like what made me do it. And just like seeing other entertainers, other athletes who stopped playing early because they didn't have a choice, and like seeing what they did, and they were able to still become successful and still turn their lives around and do something just as impactful as athletics, but like in other forms of entertainment. Like just seeing that stuff, like The Rock. Jamie Foxx is from Texas. Like not a lot of people know that.
Terrell, right down the road from me.
Is that close to you?
Yeah, it's like maybe 20 minutes from me. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Jamie, I'll probably put Jamie in like just my top 5 greatest people ever because he's just multi-talented. So that's kind of like how I think of myself. And like I don't really necessarily like worry about like numbers right now because like all of this is just, I look at it like it's gonna be in my catalog. So like so maybe I have like a opportunity to like get a job or something like that, and I can say, oh yeah, like you could just go back and like look at this and see that I'm already used to being on camera. So, and then at the same time, just anything that I'm like afraid of doing, like I know I want to do it, but I'm kind of afraid of doing it. Like, I would normally procrastinate about it, but like now I just go do it. Like I just do whatever it is. Like the more afraid of it I am, like the more I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like pass or fail. So
I think yesterday. So for some reason, I've been jamming out to Post Malone lately. Okay. And there's this song, I forget what it's called, but it's like, I'm going to do me whenever I want to do. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I was just listening to that. It's like, this is my like inspiration right now. Like, do whatever you want. Who cares what people think? And just go for it. Because
I went through this phase of like, okay, I'm going to go get the best advice from whoever. Like, but you just can't. Like, you can't always like seek other people's advice. Like sometimes you just got to just do it on your own. And like bump your head, you gotta fall sometimes. But I mean, most people, if they can't do it and they're afraid of doing something that you want to do, like they'll like try to talk you out of it. Yeah, you know. So a lot of times, like you have to just go into things on your own. So,
I fully understand. That,
you know definitely. What I mean? Yeah. So like all that stemmed from like me not knowing how to swim my whole life.
What?
And then like not. Do you know the SMU swim coach Eddie Sutton? Eddie Sanat, I think they just changed him, but he was there for like 10 or 20 years, maybe even more than that. So I knew his wife. Her name is Sue, and I told her that I didn't know how to swim, and she connected me with him, and he taught me how to swim in 2 weeks. Last summer. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, at 26.
Wow.
Yeah, so I always had a big fear of like water, like that I would drown to death.
Oh, my gosh.
So like learning how to swim like removed that like fear away from me. So, you know, it's often like little things like this, like small things that like we don't really think much about, but like we know we're like afraid of it, or like we shy away from it because like, all right, I don't think I would do well at that, you know?
Yes.
But if you don't try, then you won't know.
Yes.
You know yes. Okay, so just tell me, from just seeing SMU you've been there since what, 2014?
15.
2015 to where it is now. Like obviously like the football program just turned it around.
Yes.
Like, where do you see it going? Like, okay, when I was young, like I always wanted to go to Texas. Like that was just my dream school.
UT? No.
What? Oh yeah.
Did I mention I just graduated from the greatest Texas State, or not? Well, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I just graduated from A&M, so of course I'm against UT.
So you're an Aggie.
Yes, gig 'em.
Oh man, coming here with all that. That's cool. So yeah, basically like we already kind of like dove into mental health. Other than that, like I really want to talk about like what you want to do like moving forward, because like sometimes you have to like speak things into existence.
Yes.
And like
manifest it.
Yeah. So and like that and like I'm telling you, like it's weird. Like if you really believe it in your mind, like it can happen.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So a lot of stuff like that has happened. Like what was it? Jonathan Gray. You know him so he played at Texas. He played in Alito. He's like the second all-time leading rusher in Texas high school football.
If I saw his face, like I'm horrible at names.
Okay.
But yeah, if I saw his face, I probably recognize.
So we grew up together, played football together. Long story short, we hadn't seen each other for like 4 or 5 years. Okay, and we train at the same facility, Athletic Performance Ranch in Fort Worth. So I'm sitting at home. I'm not gonna lie, like I was tired, and like I didn't have a trainer to go to the gym with me, so I didn't really want to go. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, all right. A lot of times when I'm hesitant or procrastinating about something, I'm like, okay, it's something there for me, right? So I get there, and like immediately when I walk in, like Jonathan Gray is there. So I'm like, okay, this is weird, but like I just go over there and I shake his hand because I've been wanting to have him on my podcast. So we talk, and he was like, I was just thinking to myself, like, damn, like what is JT doing? Like I was just thinking that, and you see how those things happen, and then like he ended up coming on the show like the next day, and like that, like small things like that happens like all the time.
Wow.
So like in the beginning, like you kind of like look around and it's like it's weird and you like question it, but like once you like kind of get into like a flow of it, you just like you don't question it at all. When things happen that are just out of the ordinary, like you're just used to it. And you're like, okay, this was supposed to happen because like I'm going in the direction of like what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so we've been going about 30 minutes, and I know you like to do sports broadcasting too, and like I did this with like a few of my other guests. It's like where I give you the floor, like as if it was your show.
Yes.
To interview me. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do now.
Okay,
so now this is like Mollie Rules World. I don't know what you would call your show, but
well, I've been thinking about doing a podcast.
Names? Really?
Oh no, I already have a name.
What's the name?
Mimosas with Mollie Rue.
Mimosas with Mollie Rue.
Yeah,
Are those
just like
lemonade mimosas, pineapple juice mimosas, orange juice mimosas?
I'm an orange juice kind of girl.
Okay.
But like we're promoting having a good time.
All right.
And so usually whenever like I think of mimosas, I think like girl talk. Just like
guys like mimosas too, though.
Okay. Do you like mimosas?
Enough of them? Yeah, they put me on my ass. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. So where's the best mimosa you can get in Dallas?
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot.
Yes.
The best
I'm
mimosa.
a foodie.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Harwood, the Harwood district?
Maybe.
You're a foodie. I just put you on the spot. Okay.
Oh gosh.
So Harwood is like it's one street and they own 19 blocks. It's like a development company. So they have 8 restaurants. You probably heard of Tay DeSeo, Happiest Hour.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Like
that whole street
downtown
is all
kinda.
Harwood. That whole area is Harwood. So just definitely like some restaurant at Harwood. I don't know specifically, but yeah, like one of those places.
Yes. Happiest Hour.
For sure. Yeah, you like Happiest Hour?
Well, that's kind of where like I met a guy I was dating for a while.
Okay.
There, and so it brings up good memories, but also like,
oh, trust me too. Me too as well. Trust me. Yes. Spend a lot of time there.
Okay, so somewhere in Hartwood, get mimosa. Okay, I'll look that up. Let me see. So if you weren't doing podcasting, what would you be doing? Would you do more like basketball stuff?
Nah, I want to do like entertainment.
Okay.
I want to. I just want to be able to like tell a lot of different people's story. So ideally, like I want like a show, or like I want to like act, but not specifically just about sports, right?
Okay.
Because like all people have problems, and all people are in different industries, and like most people think that like an athlete can't relate, and like I can't relate to them because like I'm an athlete.
Yeah.
But in actuality, like you can. Like most of our struggles are like the same. We just do different stuff. So. Like I said, like I love Jamie Foxx. Like I believe that like in this like generation, like to teach people or to get through to people, like you have to like entertain them. Yeah. You can't just like talk. Like they have to like be triggered in like some way, shape, or form. So something with entertainment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have a few connections, TV shows. Maybe I can help you out there.
Okay. Yeah, I've been like, so they were shooting a movie like randomly. Like I say, like go in your way. So yeah. I was going to SMU, and I forgot who I was talking to, like Nancy or something. I probably butchered her name, but I was at the digital marketing department at SMU, and I was telling them about my podcast and seeing if they could help. And they ended up not being able to help, but I got to talk to a lot of people. And afterwards, I was just still walking around campus, like seeing who could I talk to. And they were shooting a movie on campus that same day. What? And I stumbled. I literally like. I would always go to the library because there's a podcast studio in the library.
Is there really?
Yeah. and I did one there.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, like at Fondren?
At Yeah, no, it's at
Or the
Meadows.
what?
Meadows.
I went to Meadows.
Yeah, so there's one in the basement.
There's a basement. There's a basement.
Yeah, so I like to wander.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm
I
like,
did not know that.
Yeah, and you can use it. Yeah, you can go
What?
down there. Yeah, like I used it. Like I did like 20 like episodes by myself, just like bullshitting around.
Oh my
until I got the
gosh.
confidence to actually do this.
Yes.
So I'm stumbling, just walking around, go down to the basement, and I see like all of these lights. I see all of these people's like a production going on, and like I'm just quick witted, and I know like, okay, these things don't happen. Like these things happen for a reason. So I just like go and I just stand by the set. And I know I'm tall, so I know somebody's gonna talk to me, right? And I just talk my way onto the set.
Oh wow.
Basically, and I wasn't actually in the movie. I was like an extra, but I was just able to like see how it works, like meet people. I met someone there that got me a gig for another movie, and now I keep in contact with them, and like in the summertime, that's when I like pursue everything that's like not basketball that I want to do outside of basketball.
Okay. Do you remember what movie it was?
It's called Caged Birds. Yeah. So have you ever heard of Bentley Green? All right, I'm gonna give you a little background on Bentley Green. So you know who Tupac is, right?
Yeah,
okay,
of course.
So Tupac had this song, Dear Mama. So Bentley like remixed that song when he was like 5 years old.
Okay.
It's like, so there's this like 5-year-old kid in his mom's living room like rapping this Tupac song. So like he was viral, like, and like he'll tell you he was viral before Soulja Boy. And if you look it up, he actually was. It was like 2011, like 2012.
Dang.
And he did this other like Michael Jackson like sing off versus this other guy, and it got him like 76 million views.
Wow.
So he was the star of that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like the old guy on set because Bentley is like 19 to 20 something like that. So everybody was like clean cut, shaven, and like here I am with like all of this. So I couldn't actually get in the film because I wasn't gonna shave my facial hair. I just wasn't gonna do it. Like I would do it now because I understand it, but I didn't want to do it. And I met Shauna Toft was another woman who was in the movie, and I connected with her, and she got me the gig for like another movie.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So it's just like sports and athletics. You know, you just meet people.
Yes.
It's kind of.
Yes, networking is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Like especially my industry of like working with like small business owners or like influencers and stuff. It's like a majority of my business come from networking or like word of mouth, and so.
That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yes, I've been an extra twice. Yeah. So
cool.
It's fun. Yeah. So I'm just scratching the surface. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so we know you like to eat on the Harwood area. You want to do more entertainment stuff. Let me see. So what about like your personal life? Like, do you see yourself like settling down? Are you dating anyone? Do you want to have a family?
I was in a relationship for 4 years, but I'm not anymore. So I don't know. This period in my life is just me as a man. I just need like 6 months to just focus on myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just, like focus on just establishing myself and like doing what I want to do for myself. But like before that, like I was in a like pretty public relationship. I think most people in Dallas know. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I know all about Harwood, because the girl I was dating at the time works for Harwood. We would go to all of the Harwood restaurants and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you gotta take that time. Sometimes you have to be selfish and think about yourself first.
Yeah.
And so
I've been in what is it? My sister always telling me like stuff that I don't want to hear, but like I need to hear. And I was in a relationship like all throughout my college career and like since I've been pro, like that whole time. Like I've never just been alone.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just need to take my time.
Yes.
Right now. Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah.
You got your entire life.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now.
Okay.
And I just can't picture me settling down in one place either at the moment.
Yeah.
Just being able to travel and like having traveled, like I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I want to be in Texas.
Oh, where do you possibly want to be?
I don't know. I haven't been there yet.
Oh,
That's the thing. So that's the thing. Like, so
okay.
that's how I live. That's how I live. So it's like people ask me like, well, like, what's the best this or like, what's the worst that? Like, I don't know because I haven't experienced it yet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then like once I experience that, like that is gone, and then there'll be something else.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's just kind of how I live.
Okay.
I'm like an even keel.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm like trying to pick your
Put
brain
you on the spot.
now.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay, I'm an open book.
Let me see. So what do you think about the guys that used to play basketball with now or like up in the NBA or doing their own stuff? What do you think about?
Let's see.
see.
Shake is getting busy in Philly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shake is definitely getting busy, and I think his role will like increase, and I think he'll do more with Philly. Sterling out there with the Greek freak.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Sterling's probably one of my favorite teammates.
Yes, he's one of my favorites too.
I mean, it's like everybody definitely left an impact on me. You know what I'm saying? Like while we was there, SB was always like competitive, like hard every day in practice. 'Cause he like, I don't know, he just got that Chicago. You know what I mean? Like that Chicago demeanor. Him and Ben, and like Ben Moore is killing it. He's doing his thing right now.
I've been following along with him. Yeah.
So Ben Moore doing his thing. For sure, the Pacers need to just go on and like sign that dude and stop playing with him.
Yes.
And I mean, like, Shimmy is in Boston.
Yeah, I was about to say we gotta bring
like,
up
what more
Shimmy
could you ask
at some
for?
point.
Yeah, like what more could you ask for? Like being in Boston, just being able to play in that environment.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I absolutely love watching him at SMU.
Shimmy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like you see him on the basketball court being like a beast and everything, but then once you see his story of like volunteering and all this stuff, and like the experience I've had with him, is he like a quiet person or is he?
Well, like so like obviously like he's religious, stuff like that. So he was just one of like the most like focused people that I've ever known. Like I don't think I went out with him once. Like while we were at SMU, you know, he's real focused. You know, like on the court and off the court. Yeah, he's just a great guy to be around.
Yes, because I remember after they won the championship in 2017, I was hanging around with like Vel, Ray.
Yeah.
I think Shake was probably there, and they like had hats on. I was like, "Oh, can I get one of those hats?" And Shimmy was walking by, and Velt's like, "Well, just ask Shimmy. Like, Coach will do anything for him." And Jimmy's like, so quiet.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh." So.
Yeah, man. And even Cortland too. Like Cortland was on the team for a while.
Yes, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Until like a few years ago.
We were down to like 7 guys at one point. it was crazy. So Cortland was on the team, and just like seeing him like go to the Pro Bowl is it's unbelievable.
That
man.
was crazy.
Just seeing from like just being there before kind of everything just took off, and like thinking to like where it is now, like it's crazy to see.
Yes.
That's definitely like a story to be told. I feel like they could have like another like 30 for 30 on SMU.
Oh my gosh.
During the Brown era.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
The good and the bad.
Maybe you need to pitch that idea to ESPN.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, LB would have to be in compliance with it as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, I do know the guy. I think he either directed or produced the Pony Express.
Did he?
Yes. So
okay.
Maybe we have connections.
Okay. I'd be down. But you know, like all of the players have to be down with it. LB has to be down. It's really, I mean, if LB says yes, then I'm pretty sure everybody will say yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, he's probably bored as fuck right now. He would definitely do that stuff, man.
Yes. Hey, send him a link to this podcast and be like, hey, like you have to come on my podcast now and talk about this. And
is he in Dallas?
I
hit him up. I hit him up. He still responds.
Yeah, I still see him at Starbucks sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never talked to him. No? Just because I fangirl over him.
Dude, you should though. I saw Mark Cuban at what is that burger? Twisted Root.
Yes.
Like, he was sitting by himself. I was like, what the fuck? Like that's Mark Cuban. And I went over there and talked to him. But I was shy as hell too. I was at SMU at this what was it like the first year I got to SMU, and like Mark Cuban is just sitting like by himself, eating by himself, and like my uncle made me go talk to him just to like get over like the fear of it.
Oh my gosh, That's pretty cool, even though, like, I see him, like, all the time.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like, you just, I don't know. Like, I just don't have that fear of, like, talking to people. I guess because I'm, like, tall.
Yeah,
I just always
you stand
feel
out
like,
more.
Yeah, like, I just feel like I can just, I don't know. Anybody can have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yep.
Cool.
So, yep. We got a few more minutes. So, me, like I said, like, having, like, the small community groups and, like, going to church and just being able to, like, share my message is one thing that I enjoy, and it's, like, routine for me. But also, like, reading and, like, digesting, like, different information. Like, I like to read books like Audible, like, Joe Rogan podcast, like, all different types of things. Like, what are you into in your spare time?
Yeah, right now, like whenever I was in school, like I like couldn't read just because like I just had so much stress and anxiety, like getting school done and work done. So now I'm like all the free time to read, and so I really like reading like nonfiction books of just hearing other people's stories and struggles and stuff. So right now I just finished. I think it's called Own Your Everyday by Jordan Lee Dooley. She's like a Christian blogger, writer, and so that was like really inspirational of she was talking about how her boyfriend at the time, how he was going through an NFL draft and like he got cut from the roster, and she was just saying like
That's hard.
like that was just not our time and stuff like that. And so finished that, and now I'm reading a book that there's a series. The book I'm reading is called, sorry, Mom, if you hear this, calm the fuck down. And so it's just about like getting over stress and anxiety and like saying no to things. And so I'm only like a few chapters in. And so yeah.
I like that.
So I'm like really into like hearing other people's stories. So I can like think to myself like, oh, if they can get over it, then I can get over it also.
True.
So yeah.
So it's called Sorry Mom.
No, I was just like apologizing to my mom.
Oh.
But it's called Calm the F Down.
Oh, it's called Calm the F Down. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think I read something similar. It's like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's kind of similar
that
to
one.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I also have like You Are a Badass.
Okay.
And then what was the other one? I don't know. For some reason, I like go towards the books that have like profanity in the name. And so I don't know.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Does it speak to you?
Yeah, it really speaks to me. Makes it like feel as if like this book's gonna be like raw and like really down into what they're talking about. So I don't know. It's just more profanity, more fun to deal with issues, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take like a little break for a second. Shout out to Buzag and Daniel Gresham. Buzag is a geographical application where you can go and get an insight into businesses and what's going on, live updates every day, and yeah, Buzag. There you go. So back here with Mollie Rue, and I mean we've been going, probably got like 10 or 13 more minutes.
Okay.
So Mollie Rue.
Yes.
I guess we could go back and forth. So I ask you a question and then you ask me a question.
Okay. Is it too early to have tequila or something?
No, it's actually not. I mean, I'm not really a day drinker. I had some pretty bad experiences like drinking in the daytime.
Oh,
yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm pro marijuana, man. Like I don't like hide that like at all. Like
Oh gosh.
I'm pro marijuana. I'm not really I'm not a day drinker. Like I have to drink at nighttime.
Okay.
And like I don't really drink much. Not much. Like I went to 2 colleges. So
Yeah.
I did a lot of
SMU.
partying. Yeah, and they party hard at Tech.
Oh yes.
So yeah, I don't really drink as much, man. I had some pretty
Okay.
bad experiences. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Is it on me? Is it on me?
Yeah. It's your podcast. You go
It is
first.
on a podcast. I guess you could just like if you could shout out any other like women kind of like doing the same thing as you around this time, like who would you shout out?
Ooh, dang. I don't know, because I've surrounded myself with like a lot of positive women in the same like world, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, does it have to be like photography, videography, or like?
No.
So the girl that I filmed her TV show for, Brittany Madrid.
Brittany Madrid.
Beeson TV on ABC.
Okay.
Thursday late nights of 1:11 a.m.
Okay.
Hit us up.
Right.
She is just an amazing person. Like we started out on Spectrum Cable, and like who knows how many viewers we got, and so she's like the definition of like a woman entrepreneur, like refusing to have no as an answer and stuff. And she just like kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. Okay. And then finally she got the deal with ABC. And like it's just been so amazing like working with her, like seeing her go through all of her struggles. Like she just got over or went through a breakup. And she lived with this guy down in Austin. Then she like had moved her entire life back here to Dallas. And so and like during that, she's also doing this TV show and like interviewing amazing people. And so she's like
that's hard to do.
Huge fighter of like not giving up on this dream of I don't know, just like constantly asking people for sponsorships or like coming on the show whenever it's like nothing. And so now we have like I think 30,000 viewers and we're expanding. Cool. And so yeah, make sure you follow us on social and see where we're expanding. So,
What's that name one more time?
Brittany Madrid, Beeson TV. Okay. Hit us up.
All right. Okay. Yeah. That's your turn.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I was not prepared for this at all. Put me on the hot seat.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of the Ellen show.
Does it?
Yeah, you know, like the hot seat that she does?
Nah, but I love Ellen. So, like, Ellen is like the peak.
Yes.
Ellen is like the peak.
Yes, yeah. You remind me of Ellen.
I'm going to take that as a compliment. I'm going to take it as a compliment.
But not as a woman.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Ellen is killing the game. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me think. So what? Oh, gosh, I don't know. So if you could like take your podcast on the road to anywhere, where would you go and who would you interview?
So obviously like everybody likes celebrities, right? But like just because someone is famous, like it doesn't really mean that they can like tell you a story or like get through. They have the ability to like due to their fame, but like I find that like most people who like really intrigue me and like really relay a message to me is like not who you would expect. You know what I mean? If I could take it on the road anywhere, New York, just because New York is like just the place for everything. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people like New York or California, but like maybe New York, like only because of like I've never really spent a lot of time there, and like there's like a fear. Like I have a fear of it. Like it's like wow, New York, like. Can't really make it there. Everybody's trying to do like what you're trying to do in New York. So, but I think I can. Like I think I got the swagger to take it anywhere. But definitely New York. Just seeing like what the Breakfast Club is doing. You know the Breakfast Club?
No.
Okay, the Breakfast Club is just like they're just like they're actually a radio station, but they just put everything on YouTube. Like people come in and they interview them and they post it on YouTube, and they have a big YouTube following more so than actual like radio.
That's cool.
New York or Atlanta, like it's a lot of stuff going on in Atlanta. Tyler Perry just built his studio. Yeah. So definitely like New York or Atlanta.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Your story like kind of reminds me of my friend Elena Davies. She was on Big Brother.
Okay.
And so she lives in Fort Worth now. And
does she live in Fort Worth?
Yes. Y'all should meet up. But she has a podcast, and she was on the show like I think this past summer. Okay. And we're asking her of like who she interviews and stuff. She's like, yeah, like I get like a few big name people, but like she would rather not interview like a wrestler that has like 4 million followers and like all these sponsorships where she has like she can't relate to him. Yeah. And so she would rather interview her best friend who has like 400 followers who she can't relate to and get good stories out of. So that's true. Yeah. Miscellaneous podcast. You should listen to her. It's really cool and inspiring and stuff.
Yeah, I listen to everything. So like,
yes,
I listen to everything, man. Like all podcasts, all music, all like weird TV shows that people tell me about. Like You, like I don't know why everybody's obsessed with that.
Oh,
I watch You.
Oh, I finished the second series the day it came out.
Is it that good?
It was so good.
Is it better than Game of Thrones?
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
Shame.
I know.
Shame. Nah, it's not. Game of Thrones is like, it's just like a life of like power and wealth.
Mm-hmm. Well, you should watch. Have you watched You?
I watched like 30 seconds of one episode where he like had that girl and he buried her alive.
Yes.
So I watched that, and then like she ended up being at like his girlfriend's parents' like weekend day thing or something like that, and that was like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, and he was like, "What is she doing here?"
You should watch it. It goes back to mental health.
Does it?
Yeah, because he's like, there's something wrong.
He's obsessed.
There's something wrong with his brain and another person's brain. I'm not gonna give it away.
Okay.
So you should watch it.
I mean, you can give it away. I would still watch it because like somebody can tell me something, but they're gonna portray it differently on the screen.
I know, you gotta watch it. It's pretty good.
Okay. I'll check it out. What type of like music are you into?
Music?
Yeah. Music is ritual. Just like sports is ritual. Like people can't live without it.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely like worship music.
Mm-hmm. Some Kirk Franklin.
Right now, I don't know what I'm into, like worship music. Just like good.
Who's your favorite artist right now?
Like overall, my favorite artist.
Get in your car right now. What you putting on?
Probably Chase Rice. Just because like, do you know who he is?
No.
He's a country music artist.
Okay.
And I became a fan of his like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. I saw him at concerts and stuff. And then after one concert, me and my friends went downstage, talked to his band, and his drummer was like, whew. And so I actually started messaging him on Instagram, and then we exchanged phone numbers.
Okay.
And so for like 6 months, back in 2018, we quote unquote dated long distance, like FaceTime, call each other, whatever.
Okay.
And so, but then January 1st of last year, he like texted me. He's like, hey, Happy New Year's, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And so, okay, listen up, ladies and guys. if
Public
you're
service announcement.
PSA. If you're going to date long distance, here are 3 questions to ask. And I'm going to throw a little bit of shade.
3 questions. Are you throwing shade?
Oh, yes. Like the likelihood of him hearing me say this, I don't know. I may send it to him.
All right.
Number 1.
Ooh.
Ask him his age, because he may be 16 years older than you.
Okay.
But you may not realize that. Okay. Question number 2. Ask him if he has a kid about to graduate high school.
Damn. Okay.
Yes.
All right. You throwing shade. That's shade.
Question number 3.
All right. Number 3.
Ask him if he has a girlfriend back at home.
Ooh.
So January 1st.
Threw my man right under the bus.
Oh my gosh. January 1st, I found the girlfriend on Instagram.
All right.
And I was like, who is this? He's like, oh, it's an ex. I'm like, no, it's not. And so even to this day, he'll probably deny it, but like I follow her on Instagram. I see them together. So like I was kind of hurt from that, but like they're still my favorite artists, and I still text him here and there. I'd be like, hey, what's up? Okay. So they were actually on The Bachelor a few weeks ago.
I don't think I've ever seen The Bachelor.
Oh,
is that like
my God.
The white version of Flavor of Love?
Yes. It is.
All right. Okay.
And so yeah, Chase Rice is my favorite artist. But if you take the drummer out, then he's like the best ever. Yes.
That's some funny shit.
Yes.
Wow.
But like, he did ask me to do marketing for him.
Yeah.
To do like his drumming tutorials and stuff. So I'm like, okay. I'll keep you around. I'll be your friend.
Oh man, I've never had. You're the first person to do that. That's hilarious.
Oh yes, I will throw shade where shade needs to be thrown.
Okay.
Spilling the tea.
Spilling the tea. Okay.
Yes.
Hey man, well there you have it. We have Mollie Mayfield in the building, and this has been Catch You on the Rebound. Oh, that was funny. Hey yo, Catch You on the Rebound. How you doing like that?
Just that throw shade.